Hello everybody and welcome to Wesley's Plant World with me, Wesley Peterson, and today we are out in the area of my garden called Crystal Woods, and behind me I have a border that only has a brush fencing around it right now, and this is the area of my garden called Woodland Wonder Garden. And I am crouching down here at the moment because I want to make a new bench area in this part of my garden so that I can sit and enjoy the amazing views that I have over the woodland area of my garden. So to do this, all I need to do is get my chainsaw and saw down this part of the brush fencing, place in a bench, and then I'll have a pathway that goes around this lovely border that I've just created as well in front of me here. This lovely border that I have placed rocks all the way around that I excavated from our shield side garden, which is the outer edge of our garden here. And I rolled them all down and placed them around to make a lovely little border here that I've filled up with lots of different small varieties of ferns. And I will be going into all of that in the future in other videos, so I'm not going to be going into all of the ferns in this video. I just want to show you the area because all I'm concentrating on in this video today is making my new bench area. But before I do that, I do just want to take you around and give you a little sneak preview of some of the areas here in my Crystal Woods area with all the different named areas inside this woodland area. So I really think it's important to have lots of seating areas around my garden because then you get to sit and enjoy the expanse without having to just walk around and have nowhere to sit and observe what's going on. And having benches helps you have the opportunity to sit and spend a much longer time absorbing everything that's going on rather than just standing for a minute or two and then carrying on. And it helps you to slow down, relax, and I really get to take in everything around me, the canopy of the trees above me, all the different species of trees, the different species of plants, all the beautiful rocks, and my Japanese stone garden expanse that you will get to see in a moment. So let me just take you for a quick walk around so you can see exactly where I'm going to be placing my bench, as well as some of the borders that are going on in this woodland area and the pathways, so you get a good idea of the projects that I'm still in the middle of creating. But this area is coming on more and more and more, and it's so exciting. So I just want to give you this quick little sneak preview around, and then I will be making more videos that will go into the specific areas of my woodland area and the different plants and things that are going on. So now let's go for a little wander around in my Crystal Woods area of my garden. So we'll start here in Crystal Woods in front of this new little border that I've just created with all the rocks that I excavated from over in Shieldside, which is the furthest outer edge of my garden here, that will be full of evergreen plants with time to give us protection from the street side and our neighbour's house you can see in the background. And then you can see between the two trees, the one on the right and the one on the left, where I will saw down the brush fencing to place out the bench to be able to see over this border and the Japanese stone garden behind the camera. And I'm going to give you a quick sneak preview of how that's coming along. This is the Japanese stone garden with all the beautiful rocks and the ferns that I've placed out here, and the Norway spruce, and the sun is coming in to the Japanese stone garden here perfectly from the east at the moment, early morning. Look at all these gorgeous rocks. This is exactly why this area is called the Japanese stone garden. A project under construction. So just a quick sneak preview of that right now here. I will go through all the different ferns I've planted out there in a future video. You can see our crystal cottage in the background there with the red. So you can clearly see that this border has been placed in the middle of a junction, and why we want the bench up behind to be able to see this area. So now let's go for a walk around the pathway so you understand where we're at. In front of me right now I have Woodland Wonder Garden with the brush fence around it. You're going to see my shadow here. Hello. And then again, the left side here, the Japanese stone garden with all of the rocks and the ferns and everything that will be our view. Absolutely gorgeous. And ahead of this pathway we have oval garden number 2, which is coming on well too. And then I have the pathway here with Woodland Wonder Garden on my right, and the left, just a quick sneak preview of oval garden number 2 here. Coming on, becoming green and beautiful. Here we go. Still being built up. And then Woodland Wonder Garden with nothing in it at the moment. Here we go. This has just been outlined with the brush fencing for now. A whole new project underway. But look at this lovely Hyacea abies, Norway spruce, with its beautiful look, and keeping that as a kind of bonsai. This is Woodland Wonder Garden. So we carry on down the pathway, and straight ahead is Triangle Garden. And you can see our crystal cottage behind there. The pathway to the left has oval garden number 2, and then there is Triangle Garden in the middle here. So this pathway here goes into Silver Way. And I'm going to be taking the pathway into the right here, but I'll carry on for now just to show you how Silver Way is looking. Here we go. Absolutely beautiful. Look at this. Just looks gorgeous. And then this beautiful downy birch in the middle of the whole area that goes on and on and on for days. Beautiful tree. And then to the left, Triangle Garden, which is coming on fantastically as well. Lots of plants of all types in here. Look at this. There we go. Lots of ferns, big and small. Lots of canopy. All of this in front of our crystal cottage. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really pleased about all of this. This is the idea for the other areas, that they get thick and green on the ground in the borders. Another bench there. We have lots of benches in our garden to be able to sit and enjoy as we wander around. So let's carry on in this pathway on the left between Silver Way and the Woodland Wonder Garden. And on the left there is a little border here full of beautiful woodland plants on the ground again. Lovely ground cover and boulders. Here a beautiful huge Norway maple. Look at this. Acer platanoides. Also goes on for days. Oh, I love it. Very thick, mature trunk on this tree. Perfect for hugging. And then on my right here, the whole long expanse of the Woodland Wonder Garden that has been outlined, as I said, but not created with anything inside, not planted or anything just yet. A project underway. Now let's carry on with the pathway that I created behind Woodland Wonder Garden that takes us up into Shieldside. This is the outer edge of our garden. The sun is coming into the garden from the east, you can see up there. So this pathway takes us out onto the back expanse of our garden. And it's getting greener up on the left there, as you can see, with all the plants that have come in naturally by themselves. I've planted out more and more of the spirea bush, and I've planted a wild rose in here recently here. And I've planted bamboos along this edge as well, as you can see here. So this bamboo has been doing really well and growing taller and taller. So this whole expanse here in Shieldside is going to be planted out with evergreen plants and all sorts of different bushes to fill out the area. And then the pathway here carries on behind Woodland Wonder Garden now. It needs to be trimmed, but there we go. And this is the border where we are going to be placing the bench today. So I have this lovely rock that will be on the right hand side of the bench, and you can see the tree is where I will be sawing down the brush fencing, and then the space between that and the rock on the left hand side, that is where the new bench will be, looking in over our Crystal Woods area and all the different named areas. So carrying on around the path, you can see the rock and the little area that I just need to clear out, and then what will be the view over the Japanese stone garden. It's going to be amazing. A perfect spot for a new bench. So if we carry on around the pathway, you can see this log in front of this border here that's going to be filled out with evergreen plants as well. Nothing in it at the moment. And then we come back round to my border that I've just created here in the middle of the forest area, with all of the rocks around it and filled with different small ferns. And you can see our annex in the distance there on the left side of the border. And then the pathways, and then this pathway that will be in front of where the bench will be, right here, inside Woodland Wonder Garden, a part of it. And the border, and then I'm going to show you the view that we will have. So you can see we will have the view of this border, and then it will extend out over the Japanese stone garden that's coming along, which will be filled out with all sorts of different fern plants, mostly ferns, and then other plants with thyme and bushes. So this whole area is going to be the fern collection, with a lot of native species and some bought plants, because then the area can look after itself and I don't have to worry about deer damage or any other kind of damage, because nothing seems to disturb the ferns. And to show you a native species, this is the oak fern that grows naturally here, and the reason why I created this border here, to protect this lovely fern. As with the excavation of my Crystal Woods area, this fern has become less and less, so I want to protect it where it's doing well. So now it has a lovely border here, and the whole of Triangle Garden was absolutely smothered in this beautiful plant. So that's perfect. But see, this is the whole reason for making this bench area that I'm going to be making today. So again, from the pathway, I'll just pan around to the left so you can see more of the Japanese stone garden and all the ferns that are coming along. Some have just been planted so they don't look as neat and tidy this year. Some are absolutely wonderful, and that's why I'm not going into any detail about them in this video. I'm just showing you the area, but in the future I will be making a fern video to show you all of those. So here is the pathway, or the junction area I should say, because now we've made a roundabout in the middle of the area that goes off into different pathways and sections of the garden, and then the area that's going to have the bench. So in a moment this is going to look fantastic. Being able to see all of this is just going to be amazing in the future. This border that's going to be filled out at some point. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. In fact, I'm just going to take you for a quick sneak preview of another bench that we placed out in the garden. So we're going to go along the pathway that goes behind the Japanese stone garden here. Look at all this. Behind the Japanese stone garden, which ends here where you can see I've made a brush fence, we carry on into Crystal Woods more, and then we're going to come into a new area that we're also still just creating called Betty's Grove. And here we've actually sown grass seeds, which are just starting to come up now. Here you can see the grass. Down to the right there is the Japanese stone garden, and here we have a border in the middle of Betty's Grove that I need to plant out lots of plants, and that carries on with this edge that is going to have grass growing in it as well. And the reason I brought you here is because I wanted to show you the bench area that we also created here that goes into one of the borders here as well. And here it is. This is the same idea as the bench I'm going to be working on today. Inside this border here is a lovely wooden bench nestled between a lovely Acer platanoides, the Norway maple that I cut down on the left to make a bonsai maple tree because it has a beautiful crooked trunk. And then this bench that is in the brush fencing. There you go. So that it's not in the way of the grassland area. And look to the right, there are a few beautiful ferns growing out, and that looks over this beautiful border in Crystal Woods on the edge of Betty's Grove, and then the Japanese stone garden again, and then this border that I am going to be working on behind here as well. So look at the beautiful crooked trunk on this Norway maple that I'm making into a lovely little bonsai tree. I just love it. I absolutely love that. Wow. And the bench behind, it's just perfect. And the grassy area that's coming along in front of it in the middle of our Crystal Woods area in this new area called Betty's Grove, with its own border and the grassy edging all the way around. It's the only pathway that's going to have grass in it, so it really feels like a little grove in the middle of the woodland area. So this was just to give you the idea of what is being created today over in Woodland Wonder Garden And from this bench, the view is like this. A lovely border here in front. You can see our crystal cottage in the distance there and our annex. And then we sit here and we see this lovely view of this border that would be built up, lovely brush fencing around it, and the grass area. Gorgeous. So let's now race on back to the area of Crystal Woods that I'm going to be working on today. And this has been a project that's a long time coming, all of this Crystal Woods area. For the first 7.5, 8 years of living in our cottage, we couldn't get into this side of our garden at all. So our garden in just the last year to year and a half has doubled in size and capacity for us, so that now we have all of this to look at and enjoy and expand and work on. This garden really doesn't cease to provide new opportunities for new garden ideas, expansion and joy. So I really hope you enjoyed having a wander around in my Crystal Woods area of my garden and all the different named areas and how they're coming on. They're going to get better and better with time. This is still only the beginning phases of creating this part of my garden that was inaccessible for so many years and now has become a wonderful extended expansion of my whole garden area. So now I just want to get on with sorting out this fence, getting my bench in place, then we can see how that looks so you understand exactly why I'm getting on with this project today. So I've already discovered that some of the pieces are already small enough to just be able to lift up and move the back side here out of the way, and then I'll just have a few that I need to saw away because they're too long. So there was me thinking I would have to saw a lot, but I actually don't think I need to saw anything. Well, not much at all, just a little bit here. I'll saw those few and then I'll be done. Where are my safety glasses? Important with safety glasses when using a chainsaw, right? And safety gloves. This couldn't have gone easier, and this just shows how quickly I build brush fences out of all of the branches, twigs and tree trunks that I find and need to sort out in my garden. So there we go. Without hardly having to touch my chainsaw, I've opened up the area and I'm ready to go and get my bench now. This is so exciting. So here I come with my bench, and after dragging it halfway across my garden, I really do feel like I need to sit down. So I'm hoping this is going to be absolutely perfect straight away. And my golly, it is. Look at this. I just need to do a little adjustment with a little rock to make sure it is stable, and then I will be ready to sit down. So I have quite a few rocks in my shield side garden, so I can just get different ones and test, see which would be best to place under to secure my bench. And there we have it. My bench is in place, so it's time for me to try it out. Oh, and it's completely stable, and wow, this just feels fantastic. Now I can sit here and enjoy my whole rock border here in front of me with my miniature ferns, and then the whole of the Japanese stone garden with my collection of my larger ferns that's just going to get better and better with time. And now I can really appreciate seeing all the rocks and boulders that have been excavated out in the middle of our woodland area of our garden, and it's just so enjoyable. I really love this, and this bench kind of feels like it's always been here because I have down here the oak ferns growing out underneath the bench, around the bench and in front of the bench here, and I will let those carry on growing out because I really do love them, and they give the area the woodland effect that we're going for, of course. So this was a complete success. It didn't take me hardly any time to get rid of the brush fencing here in the middle, and now I can enjoy sitting under the canopies of my trees, listening to the rustling of their leaves, and just enjoy what's being created here in our garden, our tiny little patch here on planet Earth that we call our paradise, our sanctuary, our place of stillness, contemplation, happiness and relaxation. And I am zoning out as I sit here right now. This is just fabulous. And I can even look behind me at this lovely boulder in the middle of Woodland Wonder Garden that I am now sitting in. And I can carry on getting ideas in my mind of how I'm going to carry on creating this lovely woodland area of my garden. So I really hope you've enjoyed seeing the placement of my new bench and the little trip around the Crystal Woods area of my garden and what's going on, because things here are constantly changing. And that is just what I love. So just walking into this area now, I just have a really fantastic feeling of happiness and thankfulness and joy for all that I have here. Gardening and plants and nature are just what make me thrive. So all I have to say now is thank you very much once again for watching this video. Please remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you know when my next video will be coming up, and I will see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.